Roger Stone was here months ago telling me, hey, listen, I've left the Trump campaign as a chief advisor because I want to be able to do whatever I want. And I'm putting out a book on the rape. That's going to take down the Clintons. And I'm putting one out on the Bushes that are going to take them out of the way for Trump. But he goes, I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do. So you can debate all day whether Kerry was really a coward and the whole Swift boat deal that Dr. Corsi put out. This is the real Swift boat, folks, of the Clintons and the Bushes. You need to get the book, InfoWarsStore.com today. Get the word out and support the broadcast, InfoWarsStore.com. You can also go to the Stone Zone, his website, and find it there as well. Now, I'm ranting. I don't want to burn the time I've got with him. He's a hard guy to get on the broadcast. I've got so much to discuss with him today. Louis Farrakhan saying Trump's right, Trump is wise. I mean, boy, I mean, if even Louis Farrakhan agrees with you, I mean, how can you criticize him saying keep the radical Muslims out till you vet them? But there's so many fronts to cover here. Mr. Stone, first off, congratulations on all the success you're having. You're all over TV, Bill Maher, you name it. Your books are selling out. It took us a month to be able to even get any from your publisher, Skyhorse. Congratulations, Trump following your battle plan to a great extent, leading in 3 national polls, 3 to 5 points. 20% of Democrats saying they're coming over to Trump. This looks like a bigger landslide than Reagan. Top analysts saying 47 states to go Republican. I want to give you the floor to talk about the grand strategy, where we really sit, but also how the empire is going to strike back. I don't see this crime syndicate. We know they're joined at the hip, the Clinton-Bush crime syndicate. I don't see them giving up the crown lightly. Roger Stone, how do we stop these people?
Well, Alex, first of all, I'm delighted to be back with you, and I appreciate your kind words about the Oppo package needed to take down Hillary, which is entitled The Clintons' War on Women. I was very happy to say that this book is done very well, despite the mainstream media efforts to make the current debate about adultery or marital infidelity or pain in your marriage when it's about something far darker. Serial rape, sexual assault, intimidation, strong-arm tactics. With Hillary, an accessory after the fact. With Hillary, the woman running for president, being the point person in the terror campaign to intimidate, let's use a word of the left, and bully these women into silence. Whether it's silence in regard to a subpoena, or whether it is silence in terms of speaking out and blowing their cover as a racket, Hillary's the enforcer. She's the one who intimidates and bullies these people. She's the one who hired the heavy-handed private detectives, Palladino, Pelicano, Ivan Duda, even Jerry Parks, to keep an eye on the women.
As you know, some witnesses in Arkansas to him with women had their arms and legs broken.
Well, not only that, but Jerry Parks may have been killed. Jerry Parks was a private detective brought in to do special work by Hillary Clinton and Vince Foster. That's who hired him. And he was given a list of women and said, these are women who either Bill has had incidents with, that means assaulted, bit perhaps, exposed himself, tried to rape. And these others are just women that he had consensual sex with, but then dumped. And they're threatening to come forward and say what they know they also need to be handled. Now, when Jerry Parks tried to collect his $83,000 bill after Bill Clinton's election and after Jerry had suppressed the bimbo eruption in Arkansas, he gave Bill his bill for $83,000, and Bill looked at him and laughed. He said, the election's over, Jerry, you're not getting paid. And he said, all right, well, I have to go forward with what I know about women and about drugs through Mina. And a week later, somebody drove Jerry Parks off the road and shot him in the head. So, motive means opportunity. There's a lot of dirty business here. But Hillary and the mainstream media are trying desperately to duck this. The New York Times editorial board says that Bill Clinton's actions, while repugnant, are irrelevant to Hillary. No, they aren't, because Hillary is an accessory after the fact. She's a full co-conspirator in the cover-up. It's not just that she enables this by looking the other way and remains silent. She actually threatens violence and terrorizes the women and families of the women unlucky enough to be assaulted by Bill Clinton.
And I want you to continue again. We have Roger Stone, The Clintons' War on Women, a best-selling author. former head of the Trump campaign when he was in the exploratory committee 4 years ago, one of the top guys this year until he left so that he could actually be even more aggressive on his own. He's certainly been doing that, but you can see his strategy in so much of what Trump has been doing successfully. For those that don't know Hillary, I know most of our listeners do, but the real background from insiders, and you've been inside multiple White Houses, not Democrat, but they admit Hillary wasn't just co-president. Clinton was having sex, partying, cocaine, doing some diplomatic stuff, but Hillary is the power maven. She was in there. I mean, is that correct from your research?
Well, not only that, but as I prove in my book, it's Hillary who gives the go-ahead on the assault on the Branch Davidian Combine in Waco.
That's right.
Killed 18 children under the age of 8. This is Hillary, the advocate for children, who did this. Janet Reno, lesbian, her hand-picked attorney general. Webster Hubbell, the deputy attorney general who gives the order. Hillary's lover. Chelsea's father.
And we have her callous statement about just kill them, take them out. And then meanwhile, she says the same thing about Gaddafi. She really is like a villain.
Well, in the case of Gaddafi, though, you have to recognize that the nation of Qatar, very wealthy oil Arab empire, paid Bill $1.5 million for a speech, paid Hillary $1 million for a speech, put $2.5 million into the Clinton Foundation, put $2.5 million into the Clinton Presidential Library. At the same time, they're similarly bribing Sarkozy and Blair, who are now fixers in their nations. And lo and behold, the State Department decides to reverse our policy. Gaddafi, who has renounced his nuclear aspirations, who is feeding us intelligence on al-Qaeda, whose children are being educated in the West, a guy who figured out in the greater struggle of time, he'd rather be on our side than their side. We take him out by going to the national credit card and borrowing the money for a massive bombing, which we can't even pay for, because the rebels would have not been able to overrun.
And then we try to take out our allies in Egypt. I mean, it's just crazy.
No, it's not crazy. This is the Obama-Clinton foreign policy. This has to be willful. We are systematically getting rid of every ally we have in the region, those feeding us intelligence, and we're inserting the Muslim Brotherhood.
Willful sabotage. What's the end game there? And then back into the raping, and then the incredible turbo surge of Trump. It's just unbelievable to watch history.
For us to cover, because, Alex, only Donald Trump can beat Hillary Clinton. Because only Donald Trump has the courage to say, no, this isn't about Bill, as disgusting as that is. It's about Hillary as an enabler and an abuser of women, a point person in the cover-up. So don't feed us this year an advocate for women and girls stuff. And then he can talk about the...
I love how he tells her, how dare you claim I don't like women when I love women and have no history, and you protect your rapist husband. That scares the hell out of her.
Well, and I'll tell you something else. When Ivanka Trump, who is the greatest asset Donald has, and she's got a business to run and a family to rear. She's got 2, I believe, small kids. But she is one of the best-dressed women in the world. She is poised. She's a great advocate.
She'd make a great first lady.
She has seen how her father has nurtured women in the business world. So I think in the end, women will look quite differently at the real Donald Trump, not the caricature that the left is trying to paint of him. But even today, Alex, Jeb Bush says Bill's activities are off limits. Chris Christie says they're off limits. Kasich, Governor John Kasich, they're off limits. All in Politico.
Is Bill Cosby off limits?
Where's the white flag? Bill Clinton is a Cosby-type sexual predator. But Hillary is the one running for president, and she's not irrelevant because, again, as I said, she is running the nuts and sluts campaign to discredit Monica Lewinsky, to make it her fault that she was seduced by a man 3 times her age. The Republicans are waving the right flag if they don't use this issue. Trump has the gumption to do this, which is why I remain a strong Trump supporter. I must tell you, Alex, the lobbyists, the insiders, the banking interests, the insurance lobbyists, the billionaires, the Kochs, the Singers, the Bermans, the Schwartzmans, the Brahmans, all these guys who are funding, Marco Rubio. They're all of the insiders who will take anybody but Trump. ABT. I agree. They're not too fond of Ted Cruz either. Says that Clinton is off limits, which is an absurdity.
I was about to say, that you've been a big insider, but always very principled, standing up for real conservative and libertarian ideals. But you look at most of these people, they're just Democrats who want to control the Republican Party. And that's why I finally, about 3 months ago, started coming over to Trump, because there wasn't any other strong leadership. There wasn't anybody telling it like it was. There wasn't anybody going up against political correctness. There wasn't anybody pointing out we have all these bad tariff deals and all these deals that ensure our jobs will go. But the coup de grace was money doesn't lie. He's not getting any big hedge fund money. He's not getting any big money. All the big money's going to Hillary or Jeb Bush or Rubio. That's all you need to know. Trump or die. I mean, that's it. I'm sorry. I mean, I like Rand Paul. I like Cruz. Cruz might have a shot. I hope he becomes Trump's VP. We've got to get behind Trump. It's just true. It's a fact. And I'm not going to sit here like a coward on the sidelines and then, just join the whole chorus attacking him, because it's the right thing to do to stand with Trump. Plus, it's even getting Democrats to see it's a setup now, and they're swinging over to Trump. Can we talk about those numbers some? Because it's so huge. All these big polls, these numbers show he would win right now in a general election. Am I wrong?
No, I actually think he's the only Republican with any prospect of beating Hillary. Here's what's ironic. As much as the left beats on him, he will get a larger percentage of black and Hispanic votes than Mitt Romney or John McCain was ever able to achieve. It's aspirational. Donald Trump will put the country back to work. This morning, I got a call from the NAACP chairman in Leesburg, Virginia, who wants to organize the state for Trump. I asked him, I said, I was a little surprised by his call. And he said, what are you talking about? He said, Trump means jobs. Trump means opportunity. Trump means prosperity. Trump means that there's a possibility for my kids to have a better life than I had. And I think there's a lot of support in the community for that. So right there. And then blue collar Democrats that we used to call Reagan Democrats, now more precisely, and before that they were Nixon Democrats. They will go to Trump in record numbers. So this will be a very close election. The Clintons, I think, have made an enormous mistake. Let's remember, Hillary called Donald out. She's the one who played the gender card. Oh, you're bullying women. And when that happened, Trump was right back in her face. How politically incorrect, except for he's right on the money. She's in it with him. She's an enabler, and that is a fair issue.
I want to get back into the women. I want to get back into the book, because this is one of the few things, obviously, that is really going to get past this whole gimmick of, oh, she's a woman, you can't criticize women, you got to vote for her because she's a woman. The fact is, if it's not one of her girlfriends, she treats women really bad. It's kind of like Obama never visits black communities like other presidents do. Their unemployment doubles. I mean, they really seem to have it out for their constituents. I don't even understand why they screw their constituents over so much, other than just a criminal mentality.
Well, it's even worse than that, Alex, because she has taken millions of dollars from regimes through the Clinton Foundation that suppress women, oppress women, don't let women drive, don't let them vote, don't let them be educated, don't let them choose their own husband, don't let them go out in public with a veil. On the issue of pay inequality, she's a total fraud. No place where Hillary has been the boss has she ever paid men or women as much or more than men. Not the State Department, not the Clinton Foundation, and not the U.S. Senate, where she certainly had that authority. So she's a fraud on women's issues broadly. She obviously has manifest criminal activities. What I'm hopeful here, Alex, is that the younger people in the electorate, particularly women, who have a generally favorable opinion of Hillary based only what they know on a cursory basis, that they be educated. Everything is back on the table. Once the Clintons decided she was going to reach for power, and they probably had to deal with Jeb. Jeb was the designated loser in this race. He would never raise these issues, as he told us today. He would take his beating and then going back to making money with the Clintons, because the Bushes and the Clintons profiteer together. They're in charity scams together. They are skimming charitable funds together. They're log rolling for their presidential libraries together. They rehabilitate each other. They praise each other. This is very much, Trump has kind of upset the game plan here. We were going to get a heads I win, tails you lose.
Barbara calls Clinton her son. I mean, Bush calls him his brother. This is sickening.
Yes. No, look, Barbara Bush, on those rare occasions where she's sober, says that Bubba is like her fifth son.
I know you work for the Bushes and others and help them, get elected and everything, but you've taken the gloves off and are really writing books exposing the CIA, everything. I mean, I think you're risking your life, Roger Stone. I mean, why are you so all in? You've been involved in 6 big campaigns I know of as a key guy. Why are you gloves off?
Well, look, Alex, I had great sentimental attachment to the Republican Party. I learned politics literally at the knee of Richard Nixon. I was motivated to get into politics by Barry Goldwater. The Goldwater Party was my party. It was the small government, small spending, small regulations, strong national defense, but no neocon looking for wars to get into that have no rationale.
Stay there. I want to hear about your... So what I get is you haven't changed. You've always been there. They've just gotten so bad. But I want you to say it in your own words. Then I want to look at all these national numbers from Gallup poll, you name it. Democrats, people identifying as Democrats are the lowest ever. They're leaving in droves. And the media keeps saying Hillary's invincible. I think we're already seeing the fall of Hillary Clinton. And I think Roger Stone and his book and all the interviews he's done may be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Stay with us. You can look it up for yourself. Don't believe me. Just type in iodine deficiency causes lower IQs. You'll get the Associated Press, you'll get Reuters, you can type in government ordered iodine to be added in salt, IQs raised by 15 points in Midwest. And you'll get Associated Press, Business Insider. And then by the 70s, they started taking it out of the salt. Iodine deficiency is at record levels all over the Western world. Scurvy, the BBC reported in the U.S. and Europe, is exploding. People don't even eat fresh fruits and vegetables. But you can get good vitamin C pretty much anywhere. Oranges, cabbage, I mean, any green leaf spinach. Strawberries, I mean, just obviously citrus has more of it, but it's in green leaf vegetables as well. Just a little bit of it, you won't get scurvy. That just shows how deficient people are. Well, with X2, it is the purest deep earth iodine. All the other iodine, because we've been into iodine for years, is from the ocean. It's not as pure. It's bound to things. It doesn't get absorbed the same. Supposed nascent iodine means it's not bound. It's absorbable. Well, other iodines upset my stomach. They don't have the same effects. Infowars X2 Survival Shield does it. And you take it for a month or so, regardless you're supporting the broadcast. It has a 4.8 star review. Nobody else has that on Power Reviews for their products. It's that game changer. You get that, you get half off Silver Bullet nascent iodine. You can get half off the Silver Bullet colloidal silver with the nascent iodine and a free calendar for 2016 that's got over $2,000 of coupons in it as well. For InfoWarsStore.com. There is no excuse not to support the broadcast. And the more products you buy from us, the more reporters, the more research, the more films, the more crews flying around, the more big news we're breaking. And we wear our bias to tell the truth, our bias to promote free market Americana, George Washington, John Wayne values. 110% we're committed. We're the place to spend your money, and I appreciate you doing that because then you're defending free market in our country at the same time as getting good products. InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com, and the 6 months free to sign up for the nightly news, PrisonPlanet.tv, and all the podcasts, the films. We've always offered some months free in January as a New Year special. This time it is 6 months free, and that ends next Sunday. This Sunday, Monday, it's over. You got 7 days to get a half year off. 20 people can use each membership. We just use the membership costs, so it's a private forum for folks, and so that you can share your membership with people, but it's our own platform. So 6 months free at PrisonPlanet.tv. And don't forget, the Clintons' war on women, Roger Stone, just the photos alone and the history and the people involved. I mean, look at this if you're a TV viewer, if you're a radio listener. It's just full of all these different players and how they're working with the Bushes and how it all ties together, and the Clintons with Bill Cosby, and just, I mean, 2 peas in a pod. Look at that photo of those two together. I mean, unbelievable. The stuff Clinton did, we know. I mean, Cosby, no one said ever brutalized people. He reportedly just drugged them or whatever, and he hasn't been convicted yet. But with the Clintons, I mean, he settled the cases, boys and girls, So, again, you need to get the book, InfoWarsStore.com, and you can get a free calendar with it as well while supplies last. The calendars probably will sell out by next week. I think we may have some more printed up. They're so popular. Okay. Roger Stone, very successful political strategist, worked in many White Houses directly, is just getting so hardcore right now, coming out about the Bushes and drug dealing and the Clintons and rape and putting out hardcore books exposing it like the Clintons were on women. And I was asking you, sir, obviously you weren't, you've always promoted libertarian patriot ideas. From Barry Goldwater is when you got involved and you worked at the Nixon White House, saw all that. But, it does seem like you've taken the gloves off. Please talk about the process, what you see in America, where you think this country's going, and what's going to happen if we don't elect a Donald Trump or a Ted Cruz or a Rand Paul, because it looks like all over the world, the left is going full totalitarian. It looks, they are, and they're trying to stamp out opposition. They really are getting up on their hind legs and going for broke. Is that because they can see the world's turning against them? I talked about these demographics here, and I want your take on that as well. Gallup, share of Democrats reaches record low in history. That's Politico. Economist, The Hill, GOP within 47 state wins, maybe more out of 50. They're panicked right now. What might they pull? So that's the second question. But first off, your evolution.
Sure. As I said, I'm a sentimental Republican, young Republican national chairman from 1977 to 1979. Learned politics at the knee of Nixon, worked in 3 presidential campaigns for Ronald Reagan. Never a Bush Republican, supported him for vice president only after he got on the ticket, actively opposed his getting on the ticket inside the Reagan operation, promoting Jack Kemp of Buffalo, a real conservative, recognizing the danger of Bush and the whole Bush family even then. I unfortunately, Alex, I came to the conclusion that with the nomination of Mitt Romney, both parties had become one party. It was the Wall Street Party. It was the party of endless war. It was the party of erosion of our civil liberties. It was the party of more and more spending. It was the party of the Federal Reserve and their paper money, making our dollars worthless. It was the party of banking and insurance and the special interests, the party of the lobbyists. And both parties are the same. Obama was going to close Guantanamo. It's still open. Obama was going to bring home our troops from Afghanistan. Now he's planning to send troops to Syria. It all stays the same. It doesn't matter whether the policies are Bush or Clinton or Obama or Bush or Clinton. We get the same thing. As I said earlier, I think Jeb is what they call a ringer. His job was to lose, just like his father's job was to lose in 1992 from his long-lost friend from the CIA. Clinton worked for the CIA when he was in Europe, spying on anti-war groups. George H.W. Bush worked for the CIA as early as 1961 on the Bay of Pigs invasion, involved in right-wing fundraising as an operative for the agency. He perjured himself when he was in the 70s when he said under oath that he'd never worked for the agency.
When he was made director out of the Clear Blue.
Well, he had worked there before, and he lied about it in his confirmation hearing.
Absolutely, that's obvious.
The longtime Bush ties to the intelligence community are known.
Well, they've released the documents that he was in. As you said.
Lawyer on Wall Street. The Bush family lawyer on Wall Street, Allen Dulles, the CIA director. So you see everything you need to know.
And, of course, you're about to have a book come out about the Bushes and the CIA and the drug dealing and all the rest of it. I tell you, you have got a lot of
bookends, Alex. They're really bookends. The Clinton book talks about their involvement in corruption with the Bushes, and the Bush book tells the other half of that story, things I didn't know at the time I wrote the first book. These two families, these two dynasties are in it together. And the Clintons they're really not hardcore leftists as much as they're money-making opportunists and criminals. The Clinton Foundation is a slush fund for grifters. It's a luxury travel service to augment the five-star lifestyle of Bill, Hillary, and Chelsea Clinton. It is a vehicle for the facilitation of multi-million-dollar bribes. You're a foreign nation. You want to bump off Gaddafi and replace him with the Muslim Brotherhood. You pay the Clintons. You line their pockets. And it shall be. She does it at the State Department. General Electric has a contract on the table, a defense contract on Hillary's desk. They own NBC. NBC pays Chelsea 600 grand for one TV appearance. And guess what, Alex? General Electric got their contract, their multi-billion-dollar contract.
So you get it for peanuts. I mean, you like put in a quarter and you get $1 million back.
It's extraordinary. Look, the Clintons would steal a hot stove. And people need to know the true story of the Clinton crime syndicate. The most egregious thing to me here is the fact that the mainstream media lets Hillary run around saying Black Lives Matter, but they don't address the question of Bill's abandoned, rejected, mixed-race son, Danny Williams. Danny Williams is a fine young man, Alex. He's 30 years old. He's a churchgoer. He's built a small business, put himself through college, but he is the son of Bill Clinton. His mother was Bobby Ann Williams, a cocaine-addicted prostitute that Bill hired on several occasions to pleasure him. We know for a fact that Danny is Bill's son because Bobby Ann tells us she had not been with any other Caucasian gentleman. In 1999, the Star, owned by Robert Altman, a Bush crony, friend of Bill, college classmate of Bill in Georgetown, Undersecretary of the Treasury, a guy who's given over $500,000 to the various Clinton political and financial escapades. He owns the Star. They write that they have a DNA test that absolves Bill. Alex, I went to the current owners of the Star. They were gracious in opening their files. There is no DNA test. Danny Williams is Bill's son, banished by Hillary. It's Hillary who told his mother and his aunt that they'd be arrested if they came around. It's Hillary who puts a private detective on silencing the rumors about Bill's illegitimate son. It's time for the Clintons to do the right thing. Acknowledge, love, cherish, nurture your son. Don't lecture us about it takes a village to raise a child. Hillary, don't tell us about our babies. Do the right thing by this upstanding young man. Danny Williams doesn't do drugs. He doesn't drink. He's got to put food on the table. Bill Clinton is worth, Alex, $100 million plus. So I think African-American voters are going to go to Trump in droves when they learn about the Clintons' abuse of their black son and the abuse of women.
And we're showing a picture of Danny Williams from your book on screen right now. I want to continue to expose the Clintons. Our listeners know they're criminals. We've had a lot of top experts, former CIA people and others on to expose it, including one of their hitmen and others. But shifting gears into big strategy, my listeners, I'd say 95% now support Donald Trump. I think it's safe to say, in reality, there's been a collapse, Mr. Stone, in support for the two parties. The 9% approval rating for Congress, I think it's manifest now. I don't think I know. They realize everyone's hemorrhaging over to Trump. Nothing works. What type of dirty tricks are you advising him to look out for, obviously?
What I think is going to happen, Alex, and I think it's this is where this race is going. Because all of the primaries up to March 14th are proportional, and because many of these candidates who have no shot at being nominated still retain super PAC funds, and because of a really obscure rule pushed by the Romney people, Rule 40B of the convention, the nominee must have a majority, not just win, but a majority in at least 8 states. By all these minor candidates hanging around, they're angling for a brokered convention. Trump could win primaries overwhelmingly in big states, but they don't count unless he gets a majority. Now, you also have another problem. There are 278 superdelegates to this convention. That comprises somewhere around 5% of the convention vote. Let's call it 5%. Those are going to be people who are not elected by the Republican primary voters or in the caucuses. They're supernumeraries, 100% establishment. Alex, there's not a single Donald Trump vote in there.
And by the way, let me just stop you because I want to ring a bell here for the audience who's paying attention, but this is key. A lot of Republican insiders have said this. It's leaked. The donors are giving their money to other people like Rubio and Bush, saying it doesn't matter. Jeb has said in newspaper articles, you're never going to be president. Trump will never be. You watch. We have the delegates. So criminals love to brag. They admit that they don't care how the citizens vote. They're going to steal it there. Forget the electronic voting machines. Forget Diebold. The real fix is the delegates. So break down how they do this and then how we stop them.
Yes, I absolutely agree. Look, I got involved with a group called the Committee to Restore America's Greatness. I'm trying to put together a team of veteran convention activists, parliamentarians, lawyers, people who know this process, who can fight back. We may have to, by majority vote, or even by plurality vote, we may have to repeal the question of 840B. Just repeal the rule, which the convention would have the authority to do. These superdelegates mean, mathematically, Trump needs more than 50% of the delegates up for grabs in the conventions and caucuses. Because it's Trump, he needs 55%, and that's a tall order. The establishment, the Rubios, the Bushes, the Kasichs particularly, and Jeb, they all see themselves as leading some kind of establishment coalition. The designated ticket here is Rubio, the neocon, matched with Kasich, the neocon. Two guys who are, Kasich was a banker and a lobbyist and a congressman. Consummate insider. Marco Rubio, 2 terms in the legislature, extremely green, and if anything worse, more of a neocon than Jeb. And of course, Jeb, the prince in waiting, who's looking for some late maneuver that lets him win a backroom, shady, stolen Republican National Convention.
And I love the headlines about Trump's destroying the Republican Party. No, they've destroyed it. They've destroyed the country. No one wants them. And of course, you were there when they tried to steal the election, the nomination from Reagan. They made them broker it to bring in George Herbert Walker Bush. I mean, that'd be bad enough if they said, take Rubio or some other person, and they shoot Trump, then they've got Rubio in. Or you've been there at the center of this, helping stop some of it. What do we do to make sure this doesn't happen? Just educate people that a vote for anybody else is a vote for Hillary. You either vote for Trump or you vote for Hillary. And so you better vote for Trump in these primaries and give him a supermajority, or we're going to get Jeb Bush in there as a ringer, basically, or a Rubio.
Yeah, I would hope at the end of the day, once those supporting Dr. Carson learn that Carson cannot be nominated, but that he might make a great Surgeon General in a Trump administration, will realize that the political bosses of the Republican Party and the establishment candidates are going to try to steal it. So he needs to fold. And then we have to convince his delegates, most of whom I think are fine Christians and good people, that Donald Trump is the reform candidate in this race against the same establishment that they opposed. I would hope in the end, if I think Ted Cruz is going to win Iowa. His problem here is that it's very early, but you and I both know this. Therefore, the headline in the mainstream media will be, as expected, Ted Cruz won Iowa, but Donald Trump was a surprisingly strong second. That's absent some upset in which Rubio slips in second and Trump goes to third, which is not likely, but it is important to recognize that this is a very narrow contest in Iowa. It's not a primary. It's an organizational exercise. It's less television driven. And it has rarely picked the winner. Trump has to finish first or second, in my view. Even if he finished third, it hardly would be the end of his candidacy. On the other hand, New Hampshire is where Trump he should be stronger, somewhat fewer evangelical Christians.
Well, he's dominating in New Hampshire right now, correct?
Big numbers. And I think
stay there, sir. I want to come back and talk strategy straight ahead. I mean, it's basically Trump or Hillary, folks. Trump or Hillary. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back live, and Mr. Stone is sitting back down in his chair. So I'll ask him now if he can stay 5 more minutes into the next hour. If he has to leave us, I understand. There's so much to get to. The Clintons' War on Women, available at InfoWarsStore.com or by calling 888-253-3139. Again, former campaign advisor to Donald Trump, friends with Donald Trump. Donald Trump thanked Mr. Stone for asking him to come on the show when he was here a month ago with us. Speaking of Mr. Trump himself, strategy to have him win these primaries, what the Republican establishment is going to do to try to stop him, and then talking to Mr. Trump, how he's doing right now. I mean, he's got to be pretty excited that he's weathered every made-up storm.
Yeah, no, he had a very strong week last week. Look, I think he wiped the war on women issue away for Hillary and the Democrats. If they thought they were going to play that old saw again, it's not going to work. And Trump served them notice. That's a big, big page that has to now be ripped out of their game plan to try to win this election. Look, I think Trump is the only candidate who can win, and I must tell you, he's feeling good. He's in a fine mood. I think that it is. You can see that he's having fun. He's drawing enormous crowds, 10,000 people in South Carolina. Everywhere he goes, he is pulling extraordinary large crowds. There's an enthusiasm. Alex, this is an insurrection. This is an uprising. This is the underclasses saying we're fed up with the two-party duopoly. We're fed up with government that costs us a fortune and delivers nothing. We're fed up with a foreign policy that seems confused at best and treasonous at worst. We're sick of not being told the truth about most issues. We're sick about marching off to war without understanding where our national interest is. We're sick of having our emails and phone calls monitored by an oppressive big brother government. The people are angry. The key to Trump's election is many people who have stopped voting because, like you and I, they've become disgusted with the two-party system because the Democrats and Republicans are in it together. The Bushes and Clintons are in it together. Or people who are new to the process and just have a general disregard for voting because they don't think it'll make any difference.
Sure. How big is it, though? Record numbers won't identify as Democrats now in Gallup.
Yeah, no, I think the tea leaves of the polls are very good. I caution you to say they're going to change dramatically. Poll out today shows that more women think that Hillary Clinton it treats women better than Donald Trump. And that doesn't surprise me because the truth about the Clintons has been suppressed by the mainstream
And
media.
that's why it's key to get your book and all this proven documentation out.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely true. Look, we know that when NBC had their chilling interview with Juanita Broaddrick, a woman who was raped and bitten by Bill Clinton in 1978 when he was Attorney General, they sat on that at NBC for weeks. And they weren't even sure they were going to run it. It was a very fine piece of television journalism by Lisa Myers. I invite anybody to go to YouTube and watch it. This woman is compelling.
And we should all write articles about that report about Juanita Broaddrick. We should all bring that back up because to use a Hobbit analogy, this could be the black arrow that brings down smog is the information in your book that's so well documented.
Well, I'm hoping that is the case. I do think that only Trump has the courage to continue to drive this home. Plus, only Trump would rebuild our military. Only Trump would destroy ISIS and stop this pinprick nonsense. If we're going to engage, then let's engage with a strategy that can succeed. I'm not an isolationist. I'm a non-interventionist. I don't want to go out looking for trouble.
You don't want an empire. 60-second break. I want to come back and put a cherry on top of this for 5 minutes, Mr. Stone. The book, The Clintons' War on Women, InfoWarsStore.com. Get it now, folks, and get the info out. Well, I tell you, he's a very busy guy, Roger Stone, and he has amazing courage. I mean, I really do admire him. I knew who he was years ago, and then I met him at a JFK deal because he's exposed as that. And he's just a good conservative constitutionalist, the kind of folks that Barry Goldwater was. And that's the kind of Republicans we need in this country. And then Democrats that are Democrats that aren't this weird cult of crazies. And even Louis Farrakhan, that's been critical of Donald Trump now, says he thinks he's wise, thinks he's good. We're going to play that interview after Mr. Stone leaves us. The full video is on Infowars.com. But when you got Louis Farrakhan and 20% of Democrats already saying they're going to vote Trump, that has got to scare the establishment, sir.
One of the things that's interesting here is I think that the elite don't understand is that those Americans who came here legally from other countries and became Americans, including some obvious subset of Muslims who are indeed peace-loving, they too want to freeze Muslim immigration until such time that we can determine whether or not there are terrorists coming into the country. We know that terrorists came in to the country through our broken illegal system, immigration system in the San Bernardino shooting. We know that it happened in Paris. and therefore they don't understand that even constituencies of theirs see that Trump on some key issues makes just common sense. By the way, Jimmy Carter froze Iranian immigration during the Iranian hostage crisis. No one called him a racist. Nobody called him a bigot. The mainstream media is trying to tell us that Trump was trying to freeze Muslim immigration for all time, for all people, and that was unconstitutional.
He said for a little bit of time until we find out what's going on. It's like if you're...
There's no constitutional issue here. The president has his authority. It's called common sense. That's what Donald
Exactly. It's like if your sink's broken, which has happened before, you know, at my house, you go run and turn the water off at the street, not because you hate water, but because it's broken.
It's not just that Donald Trump, I think, would run a common sense foreign policy. Alex, the man's a job creator. This country is in the economic toilet. Trump means jobs. Trump means getting America moving again. Trump would streamline government regulations to make business work. And because he isn't owned by any special interest, he could actually cut federal spending. I worked in the U.S. Senate. I worked in the House. I can tell you, every penny of the billions of waste in the federal budget was put there by some politician who's being paid off by
special interest. We've got a minute and a half left. I know there's other key points you haven't gotten to. What else do you want to impart to this audience with their marching orders to get out there and take action if they don't want Hillary in power?
Well, I think the most important thing people can do is to retweet and re-Facebook and spread the word about the Clintons' trail of crime. The more people we educate, you see, the problem for the establishment here is you could control communications when there was only 3 national network televisions and a handful of national newspapers. Today, with the development of talk radio, cable television, the internet, and news organizations like Infowars, the truth can no longer be suppressed. And we have to reach out to those people who are not as political as we are, but want the right thing for our country, and explain to younger women, explain to younger female voters the horrifying, stunning truth about Bill and Hillary.
Yeah, do they want to be suckered, just vote for a woman and be conned, or they really want to save the country and their future?
Right. You know, Bill rapes these women physically. Hillary rapes them psychologically. She has no right to call herself an advocate for women or children or girls. And so the epic criminality of the Clintons has to be exposed.
You're absolutely right.
Word of mouth, neighbor to neighbor, patriot to patriot.
Now is the time. The people have the power. In 1 month, your new book, On the Bushes, comes out. I hope to have you in studio. Roger Stone. Folks, get the book, The Clintons' War on Women, at InfoWarsStore.com or TheStoneZone.com. Thank you so much, Mr. Stone.
Alex, God bless you, and fight the good fight.
All right. We'll be back, folks, with Louis Farrakhan.
We spent over a year trying to put together something for somebody, for everybody, especially working with Alex and the team over here at Infowars Life, to create a product that would focus on helping people clean environmental chemicals and toxins from their body and how to detox those from the system. We have a lot of good products over here, from the X2, all of the liver cleanse products, the Oxy powder, the Winter Sun. I mean, you name it. Down the line, everything is great. Today, though, I'm really excited because this is something that you guys have the exclusive for, which is a product called Deep Cleanse. And why I'm so excited about it is it's a unique formula, almost like the iodine crystals. We have 2 unique products that nobody in the world has. One of the most amazing ingredients in the world, and it's called shilajit, and it's actually known as blood of the mountain or rock sweat because thousands of years ago, as a matter of fact, this ingredient was only given to the elite of the elite thousands of years ago up in the Himalayan mountains and in Tibet.
And we wanted to put this in stuff for a couple years, but we couldn't get an organic form.
Right. I mean,
so let's explain. I mean, this stuff's so good, we couldn't put it out for years.
Right. So I had to actually, it's kind of like the iodine crystals, finding a source deep in the earth that we could get the cleanest source available. But in Tibet and in Nepal and in the Himalayan mountains, thousands of years ago, they watched these monkeys, and during the summer months, the monkeys would go up into the mountains.
Now you're being racist against monkeys.
And they would pick this black substance from the mountains. And so in Russia, they actually, it grows in Russia in the mountains and in the Himalayas and only in the summer. And shilajit is actually the decomposition of up to 7,000 different medicinal herbs. So it decomposes, all these different herbs decompose in the Himalayan mountains and the volcanic soil up there. And what happens in the summertime...
So it's almost like an oil from...
Yes, it's high in fulvic acid, it's high in humic acid.
Because they're always claiming oil is really from decomposed animals and plants. There is some oil that is based from fossils, but most of it's really abiotic. But so this is a true fossil source? I mean, explain it to me.
It is, it's really the decomposition, like I said, of over 7,000 different medicinal herbs and plants. And with the rocks and the pressure deep in the mountains, it freezes and during the summertime and the pressures build it up.
It oozes out.
It oozes out. So it literally oozes out of the mountain.
It's like rock sap.
It's like rock sap. It's black, and it's highly nutritious. Even in the 1980s, when the Olympic athletes in Russia were accused of being on steroids, they found out that they were actually been given shilajit because it works as an anabolic as well, and it builds muscles. It's a big dose in there. The second big main ingredient in there is a volcanic zeolite concentrate. And what this formula is designed to do, the shilajit and the zeolites have a real strong negative charge. All the metals and chemicals and PCBs and VOCs have positive charges. So these go in, they grab it, and then they safely eliminate it through the body so you can become healthy. I mean, this is an amazing formula. I wish I actually had it, but because this was an exclusive Infowars Life product, you're the only one in the world that has this formula now. And you know, there is going to be a limited supply available when you sell out because you can only harvest this once a year.
How do people take it? How is it recommended that this be done? Just a daily dose?
Yeah, daily dose. The instructions are on the label. You know, of course, I kind of modify it for each individual. It depends on what your lifestyle is. I mean, honestly, the best thing to do is for you to avoid all these chemicals and toxins in your environment and try to identify them and start slowly reducing them. But personally, I'm going to probably take it every day, every other day, and I'll probably go with about a dropper full to maybe 2 dropper fulls. And I don't expose myself to any chemicals, but
it's out there in the air. It's in everything. Well, I mean, I tell you what I do. I've never been a supplement person. I keep it now on the kitchen table with a Lazy Susan, and when I just make myself take it all every day, I feel so much better. InfoWarsLife.com. Please also support our local AM and FM affiliates, support their local sponsors or become a sponsor, and spread the word. Because these aren't just great products. This is how we fund this independent operation. We're not taxpayer funded like MSNBC or NPR, and neither is your local station. So support them, folks. This is a war. A clean, toxic-free body is the foundation of true health. Introducing Deep Cleanse by InfoWarsLife.com, a scientifically formulated blend of nanocolloidal zeolites and organic ingredients that aid the body in cleansing chemicals and toxic metals. We use only the highest quality organic herbs backed by serious research, and we still bring it to you at the best price out there. If you wish to find Deep Cleanse and experience the all-in-one cleansing, visit InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139.